The REQUEST 2021 team
of Kent and Scottish Scouts
are up in London
to commemorate
Shackleton Rowett or Quest expedition.
After 100 years.
By planning on sailing
for Antarctica,
inspiring others in scouting to join us along the way.
I'm Matt from Morling District.
My name's Alan Noak. I'm Assistant County Commissioner Global Projects for Kent Scouts, and I'm also the project leader for the REQUEST 2021 project.
My name is Lucy and I'm a Sevenoaks Scout networker.
I'm George Stoner, a Sea Scout from Faversham District Network.
I'm Sam Payne and I'm from Aberdeenshire.
Hi, I'm Kathy and I'm from Weald District in Kent.
Hi, I'm Darcy Holmes. I'm from Thanet District.
Hello, I am Alexander McKeever from Aberfeldy in Perth and Kinross District in Scotland, sailing with the REQUEST 2021 team.
Hi, my name's Genevieve. I am from Dill District.
My name's Laura Bernard and I'm from the Folkestone Hive District in Kent Scouts.
Our first objective is the voyage.
The second objective is projects.
Our third objective is centenary, 100 years after the Quest expedition.
Objective 4 is plaques. 2 plaques are being unveiled as part of REQUEST 2021, one in Gilwell and one at Fordell Firs in Scotland. These are to commemorate Mar and Mooney.
Number 5 is outreach of Kent and Scottish Scouts. This involves creating an Antarctica in a box with loads of Antarctica related activities for young Scouts and Guides to choose from.
Our 6th objective is the River Thames, which is why we're here today in St Katharine's Dock.
The 7th objective is to take part in an event at Plymouth.
Our 8th objective is to celebrate the achievements of Sir Ernest Shackleton.
Our 9th objective is inspiring others in scouting to join us along the way.
Our 10th objective is legacy.
Welcome to St Katharine Docks in London, just near the Tower of London. This Scout Zone was first held at Gilwell Park, the UK home of Scouting, at 11 AM on Sunday the 5th of September 2021, when a commemorative plaque to Scouts Mar and Mooney was officially unveiled. The intention is then to pass on this Scout Zone along the original route of the Quest's voyage, 1921 to 1922. After returning from Antarctica, the REQUEST 2021 team plan to hold a final reunion Scout Zone ceremony at Fordell Firs, the Scottish Scouting headquarters, where a replica commemorative plaque will also be installed.
Remember James Williams Lesser Mar, 1902 to 1965, and Norman Erland Mooney from 1905 to 1945, who took part in the 1921 Shackleton's Quest expedition.
The Shackleton Rowett expedition. The Shackleton Rowett expedition of 1921 to 1922 was financed by Shackleton's friend, the businessman and philanthropist John Quiller Rowett. They met during their school days in Dulwich College, London. In September 1921, the expedition sailed on the ship Quest with plans to survey the islands and navigation routes of the Southern Oceans. On the 5th of January 1922, upon arrival of the island of South Georgia, Sir Ernest Shackleton, who was in ill health, died on board the Quest.
An extract from the book of the Quest in 1929, The Boss as I Knew Him, by Dr. Leonard Hussey, a member of Sir Ernest Shackleton's last 2 expeditions. To have known Sir Ernest Shackleton was a privilege, but to have worked with him, shared his hardships and his adventures, and to have secured his friendship was a privilege accorded to a few. I count myself very fortunate that I was one of those few. He had a great admiration for the Boy Scout movement, so much so that he took 2 scouts, Mar and Mooney, with us on our last expedition, the Quest. Sir Ernest Shackleton was one of the greatest Englishmen that the world has ever seen, and we lost our best friend when he went. Still, we tried to carry on as he would like us to have done, and we are never tired of talking about him and hearing of him. He is still very near to us, and in carrying on his ideals and his traditions, we feel that he is attaining true immortality, and that long Englishmen and English boys can appreciate the true man that Shackleton's name will be held up as an example and an ideal. He would desire no fitting epitaph than he played the game.
Scouts Marr and Mooney. The Shackleton Route expedition was the first polar expedition to involve Scouts. Following nationwide recruitment, Scouts Norman Mooney and James Marr were selected to join the crew of Quest. Mooney, from Orkney, was badly affected by seasickness and returned home from Madeira a few weeks into the voyage. Upon his return to Orkney in 1921, Mooney registered as a student engineer at the Royal College of Science and Technology in Glasgow. After graduation, he took on a role as a land surveyor with the Ordnance Survey based in Southampton. In 1929, Mooney passed the Colonial Survey examination and he was employed by the Colonial Office as a land surveyor in Nigeria, mapping previously uncharted areas. On the 20th of November 1945, at the age of 40, he was tragically killed when an accident occurred whilst he was out surveying. James Marr, from Aberdeen, went on to become a marine biologist and polar explorer in his own right, publishing seminal work on the natural history of Antarctic krill. In 1943, Marr was selected to lead a covert mission called Operation Tabarin. Tabarin was a predecessor of the Falkland Islands Dependency Survey, which later became the British Antarctic Survey. In 1954, Marr became one of only 18 men to have received both the bronze and silver polar medals. In 1961, he was appointed president of the Antarctic Club. Marr died at the age of 62 from emphysema and bronchopneumonia on the 29th of April 1965 at Milford Chest Hospital, Busbridge, Surrey, after a prolonged period of illness.
REQUEST2021. The Scouts REQUEST2021 Antarctica Research Project marks the centenary of the Shackleton Row expedition. A team of 10 scouts from Kent and Scotland explore the waters and island of Antarctica during January 2022. In keeping with the spirit of the original expedition, REQUEST 2021 is carrying out research projects with a theme of peace, environment and heritage, and aims to leave a lasting legacy to inspire young people to explore the world around them. The project itself has 10 objectives. The first is voyage. Participate as members of the crew on the Barclay Roper on a voyage to Antarctica. The second is projects. Undertake personal projects with each team member presenting their results. Number 3 is centenary. Hold a centenary flag ceremony in both the UK and Antarctica. Number 4 is plaques. Unveil commemorative plaques to Scouts Marr and Mooney in England and Scotland. Number 5 is outreach. Involve young people in a series of fun and educational outreach activities. Number 6 is Thames. Host a pre-expedition PR event at Tower Bridge on Friday the 17th of September. Number 7 is Plymouth. Participate in the Devon and Cornwall Polar Society Centenary event in Plymouth. Number 8 is Shackleton. Celebrate and pay respects to the achievements of Sir Ernest Shackleton. Number 9 is links. Build strong links with Scouts in other countries on the original expedition route. And finally, legacy. Leave a lasting Scout polar research legacy inspired by Scout Marr's work on krill.
The project can be summed up as 10 to the power of 3. 10 scouting ambassadors, 8 from Kent and 2 from Scotland, sailing on a tool ship to Antarctica. 100 years after the original Shackleton Row Quest expedition back in 1921. Thousands of young people engaged and educated about the 3 key lessons of peace, the environment and heritage to be learned from this amazing, fragile, frozen southern continent.
Shackleton's last diary entries. Ernest Shackleton died of heart failure in the early hours of morning of the 5th of January 1922. These last diary entries recall his thoughts as the ship approached South Georgia. 1st of January 1922. Rest and calm after the storm. The year has begun kindly for us. It is curious how a certain date becomes a milestone in one's life. Christmas Day in the raging gale seemed out of place, and I dare not venture to hope that today would be as it was. Anxiety has been probing deeply into me, for until the end of the year, things have gone awry. Engines were liable, furnace cracked, water short, heavy gales. All that physically can go wrong, but the spirit of all on board sound and good. There are 2 points in the adventure of the diver. One when a beggar he prepares to plunge, one when a prince he rises with his pearl. 2nd of January 1922. Another wonderful day. Fine, clear, slight headwind, but cheerful for us after these last days of stress and strain. At 1 p.m. we passed our first berg. The old familiar sight aroused in me memories that the strenuous years have deadened. Blue caverns shone with sky glow snatched from heaven itself. Green spurs showed beneath the water. And bergs mast high came sailing by, as green as emerald. Ah me, the years that have gone since in the pride of young manhood I first went forth to the fight. I grow old and tired, but must always lead on. 3rd of January 1922. Another beautiful day. Fortunes seem to attend us in this new year, but so anxious have I been when things are going well. I wonder what in time difficulty will be sprung on me. All day long a light wind and clear sky was our happy position. I find a difficulty in settling down to write. I am so much on the qui vive, I pray that the furnace will hold out. Thankful that I can be crossed and thwarted as a man. 4th of January 1922. At last, after 16 days of turmoil and anxiety, on a peaceful sun-shining day, we came to anchor in Grytviken. How familiar the coast seemed as we passed down. We saw with full interest the places we struggled over after the boat journey. Now we must speed all we can, but the prospect is not too bright, for labour is scarce. The old smell of dead whale permeates everything. It is a strange and curious place, a wonderful evening. In the darkening twilight I saw a lone star hover, gem-like, above the bay.
Following on, a poem by Robert Harding from the Book of the Quest, 1929. Following on. Why am I here? A young lad, little known to fame, refilled his pipe and poked the log fire into flame. Away on the skyline frowned a snow-capped peak. Around him lay the desert, white and bleak. The grey gulls screamed, were ominous to hear. Why am I here? No answer came. The cold wind moaned. The boom of cracking ice, a sound of dread. In the fire's red glow, his nimble fancy roamed, and winged a hero's motto through his head. Never, ever the lost endeavour, never the lowered flag. And it merged with the roar of the waters and the blast from the icy crag. Why am I here? To do such work he nobly left behind, to tread his trail in storm and freezing wind, his ache to feel and also strength of heart, to be like him and bear the harder part, to fight that polar mountain, stark and drear. That's why I'm here. Robert Harding.
Nothing is impossible. Baden-Powell's introduction in the Book of the Quest, 1929, Nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible if we set our minds to it. 21 years ago, there were 25 scouts in the world. If anyone had said, we'll go on and raise 2 million of them distributed in every country over the globe, one would have said, no thank you, impossible. But the Jamboree this year will show that the impossible has been attained in the short space of 21 years. In our work with the boys, we can do a lot to lift the poorest and most hopeless out of their slough and give them hope and aspiration. We can hold up to them the innumerable histories of self-made successful men to whom, in their early days, such a future would have seemed impossible. The Scouts should be taught to kick the im from the word impossible.
Let's finish with a reading of the final words from Ma's 1923 book, Into the Frozen South. And now, I can hardly believe that it was all true. Yet it was true, gloriously so. I, too, have seen and known and learnt. I, too, have companioned with the great souls who helped make our island history. Sir Ernest Shackleton, Commander Frank Wild, and the others, all great of heart and fearless of soul, had been my shipmates and my friends. It was a memorable year indeed, and for all the time, I know I must carry with me a vision of tumbling waves by day and phosphorescent breakers in the darkness. The grind and bellow of the closing pack, the rush and roar of broken waters at the growler's feet, the hushed noises of the seals as they come to the surface in the still water of the pack. And always shall I see in mind's eye the glory of the Antarctic night. And most poignant, yet inspiring of all my memories there, is that of the lonely cross outlined against the whirling drive of the South Georgian sleet, the sign which remains to tell of the great spirit that led us forth and died, yet lives again, as a magnet to draw the brave away from the sleek comforts of life into that outer world of daring, where men may gaze in awe upon the wonders of the Lord.
S is for sailing.
H is for 100.
A stands for Antarctica.
C is for commemorate.
K is for Kent.
L is for London.
E is for expedition.
T is for team.
O is for others.
N is for next. We're handing over to Gravesend next.